and we will also traverse into understanding the sound. Why is he seeing? Only to judge us? Not necessarily. He is giving us all the tools, and he wants to see how we grow into something or grow out of something, with all the tools that is provided to us. Jnana must refer to anything related to what is it? Knowledge, intelligence, wisdom. Who's a refuge seeker? All of us. At different points of time, we are consciously, unconsciously seeking refuge in the God. The sound itself has to be redefined, I think, from the perspective here. Sukham refers to happiness, so he is the one who is providing all the happiness. A very important part of this chapter 1 is the conch itself. Blow the conch called Ananta Vijaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Ram. Welcome back to the Clay Studios oil painting vlog number 47 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali. This is a painting that follows the principle of calligram or micrography to paint the 1000 names of Sri Vishnu. As the painting is coming along, I am also making an effort to understand the deeper meanings behind these names with the help of scriptures from Sanāthana Dharma. Whatever I am learning as an amateur, I'm also sharing with you via these weekly vlogs. In a typical vlog, you can expect that I'm covering 10 names and their meanings, and then we traverse into a tangential perspective coming from some storyline within Sanatana Dharma. This week's video is going to cover 451st name up to 460th name, and we will also traverse into understanding the sound, the role of conch in Sanatana Dharma. Before we get started, though we consider only 10 names for each vlog, you can see me frequently referring to the previous vlogs because there are so much cross-referencing needed because of the natural interconnectivity. So for you to be able to enjoy much more, I think it will be very helpful for you to take a look at the previous vlogs as well and come back whenever you get a chance. Without much ado, let's get on with today's 10 names, starting with the 451st name, Om Sarva Darshine Namaha. Darshine might refer something to eyes or view or sight. Let's guess what exactly. Sarva means everything, So let's try to add things together and see what exactly is the meaning coming here. What is written here is one who by his inborn insight is able to see all good and evil actions of living beings. In short, the all-seer. Why is he seeing? Only to judge us? Not necessarily. He is giving us all the tools, and he wants to see how we grow into something or grow out of something, with all the tools that is provided to us. So the 452nd name is Om Vimuktatmane Namaha. Atman refers to soul. Vimuktatmane, what could it mean here? One who is naturally free. The 453rd name is Om Sarvajnaya Namaha. This means one who is all and also the knower of all. We have traversed into this topic frequently. We have discussed this many times, so I'm going to move on to the 454th name, which is Om Jnana Muttamaya Namaha. Jnana must refer to anything related to what is it? Knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, let's see. Uttamam, what could it refer to? Something really superlative, maybe superior. So we have two words that we have broken it down into. Let's see what the meaning here is. That consciousness, so it's a consciousness which is superior to all. It's birthless, unlimited by time and space, the cause of all the achievements. So that is Jnana Muttamaya Namaha. one who is the greatest knowledge. That's the easiest way to understand. Yeah. 455th name is Om Suvrataya Namaha. Suvrataya Namaha refers to one who has taken the magnanimous vow to save all refuge seekers. Who is a refuge seeker? All of us. At different points of time, we are consciously, unconsciously seeking refuge in the God. So, and He never lets anyone behind. Yeah. So He picks us up at different points in time, holds on to us at different points in time. The time itself, remember, connected to the previous word, He is unlimited by time and space. Time is our calculation, isn't it? It's only for us to understand, oh, that happened to him yesterday and this happens to me today. All these referencing that we are trying to do is because of our limited knowledge. But according to him, he has made this vow, magnanimous vow, to save all of us. Yeah. The 456th name is Om Sumukhaya Namaha. That means one with a pleasant face. Mukham is face. Sumukhaya refers to the pleasantness in his face. The 457th name is Om Sukshmaya Namaha. The word Sukshmam is a word that I have also used in vlog number 45 when we looked up at our koshas, the bodies, the sheaths in our body, 5 koshas in the body, and there are also different types of bodies that we cannot sense necessarily or see. And there was something called a subtle body. And what was the name referred to when I mentioned subtle body? It was also Sukshma Sarira. So the word Sukshma here must refer to something related to subtleness. Sukshmaya Namaha, one who is subtle because he is without any gross causes like sound and etc. So he doesn't have a he is beyond all these elements of our understanding. And contradictorily, the next name talks about sound. Let's look at that. 458th name is Om Sughoshaya Namaha. Sughoshaya Namaha refers to one whose auspicious sound is the Veda. So he doesn't have a sound as what is mentioned in the previous name, and here it says he has an auspicious sound, that is Veda, or one who has got a deep or sonorous sound like this clouds and sound of Veda. So the sound itself has to be redefined, I think, from the perspective here. It's not the making of sound, me tapping onto something, or the sound of a ringtone of a mobile phone, let's say. All these are for us sounds, or sound of a train, yeah, sound of wind, yeah. And look at this sonorous sound like the clouds, and the sound of the Veda. So the sound of knowledge, the sound of intelligence has another sound itself, and it is beyond the primitive mode of our understanding of sound. And we are going to get deeper into the sound using the conch in a short while from now. So I'm going to move on to the 459th name, which is Om Sukhadaya Namaha. Om Sukhadaya Namaha means one who gives happiness to good people. Yeah, Sukham is giving. Sukham refers to happiness, so he is the one who is providing all the happiness. 460th name is Om Shrude Namaha, one who helps without looking for any return. He is helping, supporting us not because we will help him again or something like that, or we'll provide him something. We do offer, it's our belief, it's our system. And we did talk about the offerings and yagyas in also great detail in one of the vlogs, and why do we do that, and so on. So basically, he isn't expecting anything out of us, but he does help us when needed. With that, we come to the end of these 10 names and their meanings. But right now, we have to get into the conch. So the word Sughoshaya is also used to refer to a conch, and for that I'm going to take the help of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. I am in Canto number 1, verses. We will go through only verse 16, but verses 16 through 18 really talk about a lot of conches, not just one conch, many conches. And I will tell you why before we start reading into Bhagavad Gita. Itself is a conversation between the Lord and Arjuna at the time of this Mahabharatas, the war, the great war. It's the beginning of the war. So everything about the war and what all questions that arises in the mind of Arjuna is being answered, and it's kind of a conversation. The whole Bhagavad Gita is. The first chapter essentially is actually setting the tone of the storyline and telling where people are in the war, where exactly are they placed and how they start the war and so on. And the very important part of this chapter 1 is the conch itself, because everybody starts blowing their own conch. And the key personalities in this Mahabharatas, the Yuddham, the war, starting to announce their the beginning of the war itself through the conch. And I'm going to read only 16 for understanding here. Bhagavad Gita, as I mentioned, Canto 1, verse 16. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishtharaha Nakulaha Sahadevaha Cha Sughosha Manipushkarau. Let's look at the meanings of these words first. Ananta Vijayam refers to the conch that is named Ananta Vijaya. Raja refers to the king. Kunti Putro, meaning son of Kunti. Yudhishthiraha, Nakulaha, Sahadevaha. They are all sons of Kunti. Cha. And Sughosha Manipushkarau. The conch is named Sughosha and Manipushkarau. So here there is the situation being explained. The king Yudhishthira, who is also in the war ground, who is son of Kunti, he blew the conch called Ananta Vijaya, and while Nakula blew the conch by name Sughosha. So the Sughoshaya here also we looked at in the 458th name, and that is mentioned here. Manipushkarau was also another conch, and that was blown by Sahadevaha. So this is the starting, and there are a few other verses coming through, and they are all talking about each and every person who is in the war, present in the war, and blowing his or her own conch. So there is symbolism in it, and let's try to understand the deeper meanings behind the conch. Yeah. So first aspect is that symbolism of auspiciousness and divine power. So there is these conch shells being used as sacred procedures also. When you see in some of the temples and some of the spiritual locations, or even at the time of any what do you call, any puja or any sadhana being done, also sometimes you can notice that the conches are being played. It is associated with purity and good beginnings. Coming from a culture where personally we haven't used conch so frequently, I have watched them being used many times, but in our homes, in the cultural background that I am coming from, we don't use it. But there is also another contrasting sound we use, that is from the Mattalam or Mridangam. There is also drums playing, and that is also something that you will see instead of conches. Sometimes you will see that happening, or both put together. There are couple of things. One is that the sound announces something auspicious getting started, one. Another is any other negative sound, anything that is going on in our head chatter also comes down, because now your mind is getting prepared for something that is beginning, auspicious, that is beginning. That's the point. Another point is signaling the start of war, and that's exactly what we touched upon in this Bhagavad Gita Canto 1. The verse 16 was just about that, isn't it? They were blowing the conch because they are announcing their readiness to start the war. So, and particularly in the painting here, Krishna's conch also has a name. It's called Panchajanya, and all these are being blown in this particular Mahabharata war. This is also called Kurukshetra. Yeah, so they are announcing this, signaling the start of the war. Another thing, this is a psychological warfare. The third point is that the sound is also intended to inspire the Pandava forces and strike fear in the opponent's mind. Yeah, it's playing. So that's why each sound is slightly different. Everyone has their own conch, and the sound could be different. So with the sound, you can to be practical with the understanding. In a huge war ground, if you can imagine those wars that were done without the gadgets that we have right now, the view of who is there on the other side is completely it's impossible to view practically when you are standing in one corner of a war ground or something, especially Kurukshetra. The way it is being depicted, it's such a large space, and sound could also be a practical note to say, hey, I have arrived and I'm ready. So instead of a mobile phone or something, any other gadget that is playing the role, I think the conch was more important, and the differentiating sound also was to specifically for the enemy to know who else is available there, who else has arrived in the opponent's side. That's also there. Psychological warfare. The next point is that about the individual identity and prowess. Again, the same thing like I mentioned. Yeah, each warrior's conch shell is unique, and it reflects their identity, their strength, and so on. Yeah, that's also a reason why the conches are being blown. I think we talked about it just a while ago. Connection to a divine sound. So the conch is also linked to the sound of Om. We talked about the sound of Om. We practiced that in one of our vlogs as well. So this kind of universal divine sound can also be aroused using the conch. So that's another perspective. Spiritual liberation, and that's interesting how this is some narrative that a sound is also arising from the conch, and it's also a kind of liberation from any hellish realms for sinful souls. I have also seen the conch being used when the body has left, or the soul has left the body, and there is the cremation procedures going on. That's also another place it's being used, maybe as symbolically denoting the liberation of the soul from that body or so, separation or so. And like I mentioned, the mind itself will have to be liberated. Even when we are alive, it's important that we should be liberated from any sinful thoughts or belief systems. So That's also psychologically a reason why it's considered spiritual liberated in that manner. Ceremonial significance, we talked about it. Yeah, it's not just for battlefields. Many ceremonies use this method of conch shells. So this is what I had to share with you about conch shells. If you have any other methodology of bringing in sound, please do share. I have personally also seen, in Tibet there is also the sound of the bowl that happens. So there is also bell sound. Yeah. So there are so many things about sound and the way they are used, auspicious in many ways. Please do share your thoughts on the same. It's a very interesting topic. We are looking at every single aspect of Sri Vishnu through these vlogs and exploring this. So please do share your thoughts on the same. Until we meet in the next session, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay motivated. Thank you. Bye-bye.